Welcome to Online Marketing with Love, the podcast where high-vibe online marketing strategies meet real results. I'm Heidi Niemi, your host and guide to aligned, impactful, and heart-centered marketing that doesn't just feel good, it works. If you're ready to grow your business with strategies that align with your values, attract your dream clients, and create sustainable success, you're in the right place. Each episode, we'll dive into proven techniques, inspiring insights, and actionable steps to help you thrive online while staying true to who you are. Let's get started. Have you ever felt like you're doing all the work behind the scenes, but no one knows that you exist? Or maybe you've been hesitant to put yourself out there because the idea of being visible feels overwhelming or even scary. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. Visibility isn't just important for your online business, it's essential. Without it, no one knows who you are, what you offer, or why they should care. But here's the good news. Building visibility doesn't have to feel intimidating or fake. It can actually be a fun and rewarding part of your business growth. I'm Heidi Niemi, your host, and in today's episode of Online Marketing with Love podcast, we are diving deep into why visibility is so crucial for your online business and how to approach it in a way that feels authentic and aligned with your values. We'll talk about the mindset shifts needed to overcome the fear of being visible, why consistent visibility builds trust, and practical tips to increase your visibility from social media to long-form content creation. By the end of this episode, you'll feel empowered to take that next step toward being seen. But before we dive in, I want to share a quick story about my own journey with visibility. When I first started my business, I was what you might call a hidden gem. I had just opened a vintage style shop, but I had no idea how to advertise it. It was my first business after all. I thought my work should speak for itself, and the idea of self-promoting made me cringe, oh my God. But nobody knew about me, and nobody found my shop. Then, one day, my phone rang, and I was asked if I would be interested in participating in Shark Tank, the TV show where entrepreneurs pitch their idea to investors trying to get an investment. And without further thinking, I said yes, I would love to be part of that TV show. Then, when I went to the TV studio, I was totally unprepared. I knew how much money I would ask, and that amount felt to me like an enormous amount of money, which now I understand it wasn't, and how many percentage I would give in return for that amount of money. But I had not practiced a sales pitch because I trusted my ability to be natural on stage and in front of an audience. So I did not practice at all what I was going to say. And then when it became my turn, I entered the stage, I started presenting myself, and then I froze. All the words disappeared from my head when it became time to talk about my business and what it's about. So the pressure of the TV cameras was too much for me, and I felt the panic rising inside of me. Like, how can I fail this miserably? I'm good at stage, I was asking inside of my head. I tried again, and still the same. No words came out of my mouth. Then I said, "Help me." And that's when one of the sharks said to me, "It's okay, just start again." And that support immediately calmed me down. So I took a deep breath, I gathered myself, started again, and this time I was able to fluently give my pitch. And in the end result, 3 out of 4 sharks said no to my business, which means one of them said yes. I got the investment. And a few months later from that shooting, the commercials about this new season of Shark Tank started to broadcast on TV. I saw myself on the ads where they showed only the part where I froze. And then came the day of the episode. And that was my episode. All the newspaper headlines were talking about how I froze in front of the cameras. All of this was, of course, done to erase curiosity towards the TV show to get as many viewers as possible. And then came the evening. The episode was finally broadcasted. Me and my failure in my pitching was chosen to be on the very first episode of that season and the grande finale of that episode. And I do understand why, because my total failure there, it was human. I wasn't perfect. I was a normal human being who makes mistakes, but I was also a normal human being who gathered herself back together, did what she came to do, and walked out as a winner. So that was a total drama with a happy ending, which is exactly what good TV shows are about. And by being able to screw up, my business had an insane amount of visibility and an incredible amount of sympathy. My social media following exploded. I think I had in Facebook, back then I had under 1,000 followers. All of a sudden, I broke 10K in one day. And my shop was all of a sudden full of people because people knew about me all of a sudden. All of the country knew about me. And with that episode, I also managed to gain the attention of other medias. So newspapers, magazines, they were asking for interviews. And I was also asked later to perform in 2 other TV shows as well because of that. Now, without that investment and visibility that turned into sales, I would not have stayed in business for much longer, honestly. It was a true turning point in my business, and it's why I'm so passionate about helping other entrepreneurs embrace visibility. And it doesn't require TV. So let me keep on telling you more about this. So throughout this episode, we will explore why visibility matters, how to overcome the fears that you hold back, because I know you might have them. I have them too. And I'll share with you some practical strategies to increase your visibility in a way that feels authentic to you. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to take your visibility to the next level, this episode is for you. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's dive into the world of visibility in online business. Let's start by exploring why visibility is so crucial for your online business. There are 4 key reasons I want to highlight today. First of them is visibility equals connection. Visibility is how you connect with your audience. It's how they get to know, like, and trust you, which all are essential ingredients for building a sustainable business. Now think about it. When you're scrolling through social media or browsing websites, who are you drawn into? It's likely the people and brands that consistently show up, they share valuable content, and they engage with their audience. That's the power of visibility in action. Let me give you an example. There is a Pilates coach that I follow on Instagram who consistently shares quick, actionable health tips and Pilates tips. She's not just posting to promote her services, which she of course also does, but she's genuinely providing value every single day, like little practices you can do at home for free. They also work as examples of her paid contents will look like. Over time, I've become to trust her advice, like her style, and when the time felt right to me, I didn't hesitate to sign up for her membership. Now that's the power of a consistent visibility, creating a strong connection, which in this case also led to sales. My own example shows how failure immediately got people on my side. I created an emotional connection with them through my failure. I showed fragility, but I also showed power. They were hoping me to succeed. And I showed them an example how it's okay to fail and you can still win. And that was very empowering for many people. And empowerment is a connection, it's the feeling that we want to raise in our clients, of course. The second point is visibility builds authority. When you show up consistently, you establish yourself as the thought leader in your niche. People will start to see you as their go-to person for your expertise. This is something that doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent, valuable content and engagement, you'll find that your audience begins to trust your opinion and seek out your advice. This authority is invaluable in attracting clients and growing your business. So think about the experts you turn to in your field. Chances are they are visible. They're writing books, they're speaking in conferences, they're appearing on podcasts, or consistently sharing insights on social media. Their visibility has positioned them as authorities, and that's something that you can build too. And as you can see, it's not only social media visibility, it's being visible across different platforms and even different audiences. Point number 3 is visibility opens doors. When you're visible, opportunities find you. Whether it's collaborations, speaking gigs, or client referrals, visibility makes you accessible and top of mind. Visibility creates more visibility. I've experienced this firsthand in my business, like I mentioned before, after that one TV show episode that got a high audience, I got loads of more PR requests that then created more requests. These opportunities wouldn't have come my way if I hadn't been visible in the first place and ready to put myself out there, even without proper preparation. Point number 4 is that without visibility, money on your bank account is also invisible. No matter how great your offers are, if nobody knows about them, they won't sell. Visibility is the bridge between your expertise and your dream clients. You could have the most transformative program or product in the world, but if you're not visible, your potential clients won't know you exist. Now, I want to share a personal story that illustrates the power of visibility. When I had my vintage style lifestyle shop, I was getting a lot of media coverage. My social media following was pretty huge. Where I failed was nurturing that audience and creating interesting content that would keep me on their mind and remind them to come shopping. I was wondering why the door of my shop wasn't opening often enough, and I was clueless what I could have done differently. Now, to be fair, there were also other significant external factors that affected the situation. But if I knew about marketing back then, what I know now, I wouldn't have needed to close my shop 1 year after. I remember the turning point. I had lost my life's work and the greatest creation, my shop. And at that point, I also lost my relationship and even my home. There was a point in the middle of this when I was crying outside of a grocery store because I had no money and I had no food at home. On top of that, I felt like a failure and I was afraid to be visible because I thought people would think badly of me because my shop had failed. To me, it meant that I had failed. I took it very personally. That was a part of my journey that showed me that I needed to change my approach to visibility. I started showing up consistently on social media. I was sharing content and engaging with my audience. I also started to create online courses about vintage style and a way to share more in-depth insights and connect with my audience on a deeper level. The results were transformative. Not only did I start attracting more clients, but I also found myself connecting with other entrepreneurs, getting loyal clients who I served with genuine love, and even being featured in the media again, both TV and magazines. All of this stemmed from making the decision to be more visible, even though I was afraid. But here's the thing, visibility isn't about being seen. It's about being seen in a way that's authentic to you and valuable to your audience. It's not about shouting into the void or trying to be everywhere at once. It's about showing up consistently in the places where your ideal clients are, sharing your unique perspective, and providing genuine value. The beauty of this is that closing my shop, as tragical as it felt back then, was also the best thing that has happened to me. Because closing my shop forced me to take my business online and learn everything about how to build a successful online business. Now, I've shared this biggest tragedy of my life that I still feel very vulnerable about, even after over 10 years, to show you how we don't always know why things that we perceive to be bad happen to us, but we have the power to turn these perceived tragedies into victories when we don't give up. Instead of taking my dream away from me, life actually gave me the possibility to make another big dream I had in this life to come to reality. If I still had my vintage lifestyle shop alive and kicking now, I would never have been able to fulfill my 20-year dream of moving to Italy. If I needed to choose between the freedom of being able to wake up when I want to, doing my work when I want to, and living the way that I want to, versus being tied to opening hours of my shop and all the financial risk that included, I would absolutely choose the first one. Let me give you an example of the changes that I made with my visibility in practice. So first, what I did was I created packages and products I was offering to my clients. Instead of selling clothing, which I couldn't do because I closed my shop, I started to offer them photography packages that included vintage styling and a complete transformative experience. I started by practicing and doing loads of free photo shoots to show how my works were, and then I posted it online. I also posted a lot of behind the scenes pictures as well as before and after images of these women. I was posting client testimonial videos and vintage styling tutorials, like how to do your vintage style makeup and hairdo. I also created vintage styling online courses and gave webinars to advertise them. And may I mention, I was still totally discouraged and afraid when I did all this. But I did it anyway, because it was something I truly loved, and I was committed to find a way to make it work. This change started attracting my ideal clients, people who resonated with my approach and were eager to work with me. It didn't happen overnight, but every time I felt like collapsing, something good happened. I got a photography booking or I got a media request, something that kept me believing until I actually was able to make it work again. This example illustrates a crucial point about visibility. It's not about quick wins or overnight success. It's about consistent, valuable presence over time. It's about showing up even when it feels like nobody's watching, because you never know who might be silently benefiting from your content or when that tipping point will come. As we move forward in this episode, keep in mind that visibility is not a one-size-fits-all approach. What works for one person may not work for another. The key is to find the strategies that feel authentic to you and resonate with your audience. And remember, visibility is a journey, it's not a destination. It's about consistent, intentional effort over time, and it never stops when you have a business. Now, in the next section, we'll address one of the biggest obstacles to visibility, which is something I've already mentioned during this episode, which is fear. I've had my share of it, let me tell you. We'll explore some powerful mindset shifts that can help you overcome this fear and embrace visibility in your business. But before we do, I want you to take a moment to reflect on your own visibility journey. Where are you currently showing up in your business? Where do you wish to be more visible? And what kind of changes are you called to do to achieve that? Hold on to those thoughts as we move into the next section. Now that we understand why visibility is so crucial, let's address the elephant in the room: the fear of being visible. It's a common hurdle for many entrepreneurs, me included, and if you're feeling it, you're not alone. Let's explore some powerful mindset shifts that can help you overcome this fear and embrace visibility in your business. First one is reframe visibility as service. So instead of thinking, I'm putting myself out there, think, I'm sharing something that could help someone. Visibility isn't about you, it's about the people you're here to serve. When you shift your focus from self-promotion to service, it becomes easier to show up consistently. So ask yourself, what knowledge or insights do I have that could make somebody's day better or solve a problem they're facing? This perspective can make visibility less like a chore and more like a meaningful contribution. Let me share a personal example again. So when I first started to show up in social media after my business collapsed, I was terrified. I kept thinking, who am I to be sharing advice? What if people think I'm not qualified enough? After all, I'm a failure. And there were even people, let's say colleagues, who tried to make me feel that way. But then, in my head, I reframed it. I started thinking about the listeners who might be struggling with their femininity, the same issues that I had overcome previously in my life. I focused on how my experiences and insights could help them navigate their own journeys. And suddenly, recording each video or doing each piece of content felt less like self-promotion and more like an act of service. And I realized I am not doing this for my peers. I am doing this for my clients who need me. I don't have to please my peers. I have to be helpful for my clients. And that idea changed my perception and gave me courage to put my contents out there. The second is embrace imperfection. Perfectionism is often what holds us back from showing up. Remember my story of how I failed in front of the whole country on TV? Now that example shows that your audience isn't looking for perfection. They're looking for connection. It's okay to be human. In fact, showing your imperfections can make you more relatable and trustworthy. Share your struggles along with your successes. Be open about your learning process. This vulnerability can create deeper connections with your audience. It's not easy to share your vulnerable moments. In fact, it took me 10 years to be able to share what I'm sharing with you today. It was tough. But I believe it serves as an empowering example for you to trust the process and move forward no matter what. Building visibility requires that kind of commitment. Number 3 is focus on one person. When the thought of a big audience feels overwhelming, focus on speaking to just one person, your ideal client. Imagine you're having a conversation with them and it becomes less intimidating. This approach not only makes visibility feel more manageable, but it also helps you create more targeted, impactful content. When you're creating content or showing up on social media, picture your ideal client and speak directly to them. What do they need to hear today? What questions are they struggling with? Now, here's a technique that I personally use. I have a detailed avatar of my ideal client. In fact, I have 3 different profiles. The profiles include their name, occupation, what challenges they face. Before I create any content, I visualize this person and ask myself, what does Sari need to hear today? This helps me create more focused, impactful content and makes the process of being visible feel more like a one-on-one conversation. Number 4 is address the fear of judgment. The fear of being judged is real, but here's the thing. People who matter will resonate with your message, and those who don't, they aren't your audience anyway. Let them scroll on. Remember, not everyone is your ideal client, and that's okay. Your goal isn't to appeal to everyone, it's to deeply resonate with the right people. When you focus on serving your ideal audience, the fear of judgment from others becomes less significant. Another one of my own examples. When my lifestyle shop failed, I was terrified of judgment. I feared people would judge me for my failure. I judged myself for my failure. And my fear did not come also out of the blue. In fact, there was a person who used to work for me who clearly did everything she could do to make sure that I would not be successful again after my failure. She was talking bad things about me inside of the industry, even contacting companies I had cooperated with. When I published something in social media, she attacked my posts with negative comments. I became so afraid of publishing anything online because I was afraid of her. Until my business coach made me understand that if I let her win, she'll get what she wants and I'm left with nothing. I decided to not let her win, but to do my own thing anyway. When I know that I act from sincere energy, her attacks don't matter. All I can concentrate on is my own behavior and my own energy. So I concentrated my energy on my clients and not on her. And soon her attack stopped completely and I was building my business again. Number 5 is celebrate small wins. Even as cheesy as it sounds, it's so true. Every step you take toward visibility is a win. Celebrate the small actions, whether it's posting on social media, sharing a story, or hosting your first webinar, whatever it is. These small wins build momentum and confidence over time. Keep a visibility journal where you note down each time you show up, no matter how small it seems. This can be a powerful tool to track your business and boost your confidence. In my own business, I am now growing the visibility for my new business that I'm just launching, and I've just started a Sunday ritual where I'm reviewing my visibility wins for the week. It could be as small as responding to a comment on Instagram or as big as launching a new program or setting up a new opt-in funnel. But anyway, acknowledging these moments, these wins, no matter how small, has been crucial in building my confidence and my motivation to keep showing up no matter what. Now, I want to address a common concern I hear from my clients. But Heidi, what if I show up and nobody responds? This is a valid fear, but here's the truth. Visibility is a long game. It's not about instant gratification. It's about consistently showing up, providing value, and building relationships over time. So you have to give people time to get to know you. Think of visibility like planting seeds. When you first plant a seed, nothing happens immediately. You have to keep watering it, you have to be nurturing it, and giving it time to grow. Your visibility efforts are exactly the same. Each post, each video, each podcast episode is a seed. Some will sprout quickly, others might take more time, but with consistent effort, your garden of visibility will flourish. Personally, I am just starting a new Instagram account for my new online business coaching business. And for a few months, I've been posting consistently. And so far, it feels like I'm shouting into a void. My following count is growing slowly, and my posts are getting a little engagement. It could be disheartening, and yes, I would be tempting to give up sometimes. But I know how the visibility game works now. I remind myself that visibility is a long game. I keep showing up, I keep providing value, and I keep engaging with others in my niche. Slowly but surely, things will change. I know I will start getting more followers, more engagement, and even direct messages from people saying how much they appreciate my content. That will come. Until that, I will keep on sharing my content and testing it. I'm seeing what kind of contents do get visibility and engagement and what kind of contents get less. And of course, I do more of the things that work. A good tip is also to go to your profiles of your peers and see what kind of content is working for them, and then see how you can fit it into your business. Remember, being visible isn't about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about being present, being authentic, and being of service. As you work on these mindset shifts, be patient and kind with yourself. Visibility is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice to develop. In the next section, we'll dive into practical strategies to build your visibility. But before we do, I want you to take a moment to reflect. What's one mindset shift you can take today to embrace visibility in your business? How can you reframe your fear into an opportunity of service? Hold into that thought as we move into the practical strategies. Now that we've addressed the mindset aspect of visibility, let's dive into practical strategies you can implement to increase your visibility online. Like I shared earlier in my own example, there are many ways to be visible, and you need to utilize pretty much all of them, but in a way that aligns with you. So remember, the key is to choose strategies that feel authentic to you and resonate with your audience. Let's break these down into short form, medium form, and long form and max form content strategies. First one is short form content, which is your daily contents. So these are like social media posts where you can use images or carousels to share quick tips, inspirational stories, quotes, behind the scenes content, and be consistent with it. It's better to show up regularly in small ways than to go big and then completely disappear. So, for example, you could create a Tip Tuesday series where you share actionable advice every week. Use captions that spark engagement by asking questions or inviting your audience to share their thoughts. Or it could be Instagram stories and reels. So these are like short videos that are a fantastic way to engage with your audience and showcase your personality. Now keep them simple, fun, and aligned with your brand. For example, you might share a quick day in life story or a 30-second reel with valuable tip. Remember, these don't have to be perfect because the authenticity is what resonates the most. And on top of this, remember daily to engage with your audience. So visibility isn't just about posting, it's also about building relationships. So respond to comments, join conversations in your niche, and be an active participant in your community. You can set aside like 15 minutes a day to interact with your audience by replying to DMs or commenting on their posts. This not only increases visibility, but it also builds trust and connection. The next visibility content creation level is medium form content, which is your weekly contents. So this could be like weekly valuable content such as longer videos, blogs, or podcasts. Start creating valuable medium-long content that you share weekly. This allows you to share your expertise in a more personal way while reaching a wider audience. Share valuable insights and actionable tips to establish yourself as an expert. Focus on answering common questions from your audience or diving deep into topics that they care about. Long-form video content is a powerful way to, for example, build visibility while connecting deeply with your audience, because you could create tutorials, case studies, or behind-the-scene videos that showcase your expertise. The value of this is also the fact that this kind of content is not time-sensitive. People will find this medium-form content even years after you published it, and it will revert quickly as paying clients when you're able to help your ideal client with your content. Another way to do this are like webinars and online town halls. So you can host events where you can interact with your audience, answer their questions, and provide real value in real time. So, for example, you could host a free webinar on a specific topic related to your expertise, such as, 5 steps to building confidence in your marketing. This is an excellent way to build trust and nurture relationships with your potential clients, as well as also making sales. And then one idea is also collaborations, because best way to build your audience is to be in front of other people's audiences. So partnering with others in your niche can amplify your visibility significantly. Consider maybe co-hosting an Instagram live session or collaborating on a blog post, or offering yourself as a podcast guest in creating joint content with someone whose audience aligns with yours. Then the next level is long-form content, which is your quarterly contents. An example of this is creating evergreen resources. So you can offer unique resources like shorter books, guides, or templates that align with your expertise and your brand values. For example, if you're a business coach, you could create a free downloadable workbook titled Your Weekly Visibility Planner. These resources not only provide value, but also position you as an expert. And this, by form, is longer than what you create on the weekly content. That's why it's quarterly, because you can make one of these every quarter. It's like longer form contents. And then there is the max form content, which is the longest. So this is your yearly content. It makes longer for you to finish, but it also creates maximum effect and showcases you as the industry expert with huge visibility possibilities. So this would be like writing a book. If you're ready for the next level of visibility, you should consider writing a book of your area of expertise. A published book instantly establishes credibility and opens doors to new possibilities like speaking engagements or media features. And then on top of that, all of these content forms, there's also the idea that you should consider how could PR help you building your visibility. So like what kind of newspapers or magazines or TV shows would you like to be featured in? And when you think about this, you also need to think, why would they want to feature you? Because they don't do publicity just for the publicity. You need to, they think what's in it for them. So what kind of interesting contents could you offer them that would be worth publishing for them? No matter which strategy you choose, remember that consistency is the most important factor for your success. Visibility compounds over time. The more frequently and authentically you show up, the more momentum you'll build. Here's an example from my own journey again. So you're listening now to my second podcast episode ever, which means that I am personally in this new business of mine, I'm in the beginning of this journey. But I am committed to releasing one episode every week without fail. This is my medium form content, and some weeks I know will be easier than others. There will be times when I doubt whether anyone was listening, but I'm committed to staying consistent because I believe in this value of what I'm sharing, and I believe in this content form. It's part of the strategy that I'm sharing with you, and you can see that I am also following the same strategy because I believe it, and that's why I'm sharing it also with you. And hey, you're here, so that actually proves that I am right. So here's my advice. Start small, but stay consistent. Whether it's posting 3 times a week on Instagram or writing one post a month, commit to showing up regularly for your audience. That builds not only your visibility, but also trust. And remember, this is important. You don't have to do it all at once. Start by choosing 1 or 2 strategies that feel most aligned with you right now, and then focus on mastering those before adding more. So for example, I started with daily Instagram posts, reels, stories, and now I am expanding to my weekly content, which is this podcast that you're just listening. So I started with something and now I'm expanding. And that's what I also advise you to do. Now, as we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to recap the key points that we've covered. The first one is why visibility matters. So visibility is essential for connecting with your audience, building authority in your niche, creating opportunities, and ensuring that people know about the incredible value that you offer. Number 2, mindset shifts for overcoming fear. We explored how reframing visibility as service, embracing imperfection, focusing on one person at a time, addressing the fear of judgment, and celebrating small wins can help you overcome the fear of being seen. Number 3, practical strategies for building visibility. From short-form content like social media posts and reels, to medium-form content like podcasts and webinars, and even long-form and max-form content like writing books. There are countless ways to increase visibility in ways that feels authentic to you. And now it's time for action. This week, I challenge you to take one step toward being more visible in your business. Maybe it's posting something vulnerable on Instagram. Maybe it's pitching yourself as the guest on somebody else's podcast. Or maybe it's starting that blog post or video series you've been thinking about for months. Create your own visibility plan that aligns with your own energy and ambitions. How do you want to be visible daily, weekly, quarterly, and yearly? And then add it to your calendar so it will become real. Whatever it is, just take the first step. Remember, progress beats perfection every single time. And here's something important I want you to take away from today's episode. Your voice matters. Your expertise matters. There are people out there right now who need exactly what you have to offer, but they cannot find you unless you're visible. So don't let fear hold you back from making the impact you're meant to make. Thank you for tuning into Online Marketing with Love podcast. I hope this episode inspired you to embrace high vibe marketing and take the next step toward building a business you love. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd be so grateful if you could subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. And please do leave a review. It helps more purpose-driven entrepreneurs like you discover this podcast. If you know someone who would benefit from this message, feel free to share it with them too. For more tips and exclusive insights to grow your business with love, subscribe to my newsletter, Online Marketing with Love, High Vibe Marketing Digest. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if you're ready to dive deeper, follow me on Instagram. I am Heidi Niemi for daily inspiration and bite-sized strategies to help you grow your online business with love. Until next time, stay consistent, keep growing, keep serving, and keep showing up with love.